The Hawks just traded DeJounte Murray to the New Orleans Pelicans. And I don't like this trade at all. The Hawks traded DeJounte Murray to the Pelicans for Larry Nance Jr., Dyson Daniels, a 2025 first-round pick, and a 2027 first-round pick. Obviously, the Hawks are trying to rebuild right now because they just got the first-round pick. They drafted Zachary Razache. I think that's how you say his name. They just drafted Zachary Razache. Oh my, what is this guy's name? Anyways, they drafted this guy. First-round pick from France. Pretty cool. The thing is, though, with this rebuild that they're going for, I assume that they're going to trade Trae Young and or Clint Capella next, probably, just to get as many assets as possible. This is a rebuild route that they're going. I feel like this is a really bad start. They have a first-round pick next year from the Lakers, and the Lakers are nowhere near the bottom of the West right now. So I feel like this is going to be a late first-round pick. And then you have this 2027 first-round pick, which it could be anything at that point. So that could be good, honestly. My problem is Larry Nance Jr. and Dyson Daniels. I honestly would rather get more draft capital than these two players. DeJounte Murray is an excellent freaking player. Like, this guy is really good. I mean, compared to Dyson Daniels, who, let's see, 6'8" point guard. He averaged 5, 4, and 3, shooting 44% from the field and 30% from 3. And 64%. Oh my goodness, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, basically random bench player. And then Larry Nance Jr. The stats speak for themselves. And then you take a look at DeJounte Murray stats. He's averaging 23, 5, and 6 with 46% from the field and 36% from 3. But that's just because he's kind of a shot chucker low-key. The main point that I'm trying to get across is that 2 first-rounders and 2 bench players for DeJounte Murray is not that big of a trade package. I'm going to be 100%. DeJounte Murray is worth way more than this trade package. I don't understand what they're going for here. I'm not mad at all for the DeJounte Murray trade to begin with. I was telling everyone that they should trade DeJounte Murray. I just don't think the value they got out of him is worth getting rid of him in the first place. I honestly think I'd rather keep DeJounte Murray than accept this trade offer. The Hawks are obviously trying to get more draft capital for DeJounte Murray because they are going for the rebuild phase of their franchise right now. And I didn't really fully get that. I don't understand why you have to go into a rebuild right now. You have Trae Young, who is honestly a top 7 point guard in the league, if we're being completely honest and unbiased. With Trae Young, the first-round pick, and DeJounte Murray, they should have pushed to be a contender, if I'm being honest. They could have traded DeJounte Murray and or the first-round pick itself before the draft even started to get another all-star next to Trae Young. Get him somebody that will actually complement him. Because DeJounte Murray and Trae Young cannot play with each other. If you look how DeJounte Murray plays, he's a very ball-dominant player. He's a good player, but he needs the ball in his hands to be good. He's a score-first guy. He needs to score first, and if he can't, then he'll pass the ball to someone else. You could see it when Trae was injured. I forget if he was injured or just... Trae Young wasn't playing for a while. And then that eventually led to DeJounte having to lead the Hawks for a while. And honestly, it looked good. It looked good. In this overtime game versus the Celtics, the ball gets inbounded to him. He's sizing him up. He drives down, pulls up for the mid-jumper here, and lands it. That was his 44th shot of the game. You don't even need to watch basketball that much to know that 44 shots is an literal absurd amount of shots to take. But in the end, he won it for them. He got the game winner against the Celtics. He's the one that scored the most. I think he dropped 44, 7, and 7. Or something like that, but big numbers, even if he shot 44 times. What I'm trying to say is that this is recent. He is still performing like a good shooting guard should. What was that? And then you go to his right-hand man, Trae Young, the #1 guy on the Atlanta Hawks. He's averaging 26, 3, and 11 assists a game. He's the facilitator on the Hawks. He's shooting 43% from the field and 37% from the three-point line. Because Trae is also kind of a shot chucker. His shot selection from 3 is really not the best, I'm not going to lie. But you don't need him to shoot the ball if he's just going to give you 11 assists a game. Like, this guy knows how to get the ball to the basket. But that's the key thing, though. Trae knows how to get the ball to the basket. DeJounte knows how to get the ball to the basket. Usually having 2 ball-dominant players on one team isn't the worst thing in the world, but they both really want the ball. That's the exact same reason why my Clippers aren't working out right now. We have James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. They all need the ball at some point. It worked for like a solid 13-game span where we just won 13 times in a row. But what happened after that? It just imploded on itself. I think that's what the Hawks are trying to avoid right now, is having like too many good players hog the ball, which is why they got rid of DeJounte in the first place. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't. I don't know why they're going for a rebuild here. They literally made the Eastern Conference Finals 3 years ago without DeJounte Murray. Trey did it. Not by himself. I almost said by himself, but that's false. Trey Young had Bogey, a young Clint Capella. He had Lou Williams on his team. Cam Reddish, who was averaging 13 points off the bench. I think he was off the bench. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't watch basketball until 2023. What I'm trying to say is that he had not the most elite team in the league, and he still made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo, he still held his own. He averaged 28 points, 3 rebounds. He's not going to get rebounds. He's 6'1". 3 rebounds and 7 assists. This is 3 years ago. He's averaging 10, 11 assists now a game. He's performing better than he did 3 years ago when he made the Eastern Conference Finals with an arguably worse team. I feel like the Hawks had the chance to push Trey Young to become a point guard that had an elite backup supporting cast. They had the #1 pick, and they also had DeJounte Murray, who's been on trade talks for the past 6 months, 7 months. There were so many talks about Trey Young, like to the Spurs, DeJounte somewhere, and then they got the #1 pick. A few people, including myself, wanted the Hawks to trade that #1 pick to get finally like a center better than Clint Capella, if we're being honest. Clint Capella is not a bad player at all, but if you want Trey Young to be at his absolute maximum capacity, you need a center that is going to be able to catch his 11 assists and capitalize on that. Someone to pass to, because he's 6'1". You need someone to complement his short size by getting a taller guy that's also athletic and that'll catch his assists. That's where DeJounte Murray fills in. I feel like DeJounte he never had a concrete role in his 3 years. Was it 3 or 4? How long has he been with the Hawks? I don't even know. His stint with the Hawks, I feel like there was never actual full cohesion with him and Trey. It never worked out from day one. That's why I've been saying to trade DeJounte, but not for this terrible package. 2 bench players and 2 first rounders, and this one is pretty much 90% guaranteed to not be top 15. Actually, maybe the West is pretty stacked. I don't know. I feel like DeJounte could have been. You could have gotten way more for DeJounte. The Lakers wanted him. Who else wanted him? There was a lot of teams wanted this guy. The Pelicans was not on my radar at all. When I saw that on my phone, I was very confused. I was like, Pelicans? What do the Pelicans have to offer for DeJounte Murray? The answer is nothing. They didn't have anything to offer, and they still got him somehow. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. I really dislike this trade package. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, it's definitely good for the Pelicans. They have Herb Jones, CJ McCollum, now DeJounte Murray, Zion. Brandon Ingram might leave, though, so we're not going to include his name. If I'm a Pelicans fan, I'm happy. But if I'm a Hawks fan, I'm half mad, I'm half sad. Not sad. I'd be half happy, half mad. I'd be happy that I finally have DeJounte Murray off my team because he's a good player, a good guy. He just didn't fit with the team well, and that's honestly fine. I'm saying this for the 5th time, but this is, oh my gosh. The main point I'm talking about this DeJounte Murray trade is because it's looking like they're going to the path of a rebuild, and I don't understand why there's a rebuild in the first place. They literally made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and everyone, Trey did amazingly, Bogey did good, Clint Capella, where's Clint Capella? 10 rebounds a game. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players averaging double digits this whole playoff series. I get it's the Bucks. I'm not trying to emphasize that they lost. I'm trying to emphasize that they made it this far with this team, led by evidently Trey Young, who's averaging insane numbers. And after this, I think it was this or the next year, this is when they got DeJounte Murray. They got DeJounte Murray and Jock Landale for Gallinari, 3 first-round picks, and a pick swap. I feel like they're trying to take back what they lost here because this trade looks like a win-now trade. And this was only 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. And now they're going to rebuild again. At this point, I think Trey Young's also gone too. I wouldn't understand trading DeJounte for just draft assets and bench players because obviously with this trade, they're not going to... I think they're in a worse position than they are now, like last season. They're obviously not pushing to be a contender. So the question is, are they going to stay at that 0.5 team range for the whole season again like they've been doing? Or are they going for a hard rebuild and building from the ground up? Because if they are, then Trey and Clint Capella are probably going to be gone if we know it. Will trade of the Spurs finally happen? Or we don't know yet because of all the trades going on in San Antonio right now. They drafted 2 guards, gave away 1. I guess they're getting more picks also for Wemby in the future. After this trade, I'm pretty sure Trey Young's chances of going to the Spurs are way higher than they were not even 48 hours ago. If they don't trade Trey and they just keep him on the team for the next season, then I'm not even sure what to think. That's all I gotta say about the DeJounte Murray trade to the Pelicans. Zion's happy. The Pelicans are happy. I'm not a fan of either. I don't care. It's just crazy to think about that the Hawks just got essentially. I think they got essentially nothing in return. But they just need to trade Trae Young and maybe Clint Capella in the foreseeable future, because that's their only chance at a full rebuild. I guess Zachary Rizache is going to lead the Hawks for the next few seasons if Trae Young and Clint Capella leave. And if the Hawks actually realize the value of their players, then maybe they'll get an actual good trade package instead of 2 bench players and 2 first-round picks that are probably not going to matter, in my opinion. That's all I have to talk about for the DeJounte Murray trade situation. It happened today. This video is probably going to come out the day after it happened, just because I'm recording at 9:14 p.m. and I'm not going to stay up till 2 a.m. editing a video. So it'll be out tomorrow. All right. Peace out. See ya.